The international break is finally over and West Ham are back with a massive game at Villa Park this Sunday. West Ham versus Aston Villa. We're going to get into it. And the big talking point, should Kudus finally start after coming along, helping West Ham get a point against Newcastle at home before the international break? I'm here with Graham. Ryan is hopefully coming soon. He's back from work, but so far it's a dynamic duo.
That's it, mate. I'd say the dream team, but more like the nightmare team,
I think. Well, listen, bear with us. Nicky's on holiday, flying first class, I see.
Yeah, I know. He rang me earlier, bragging about flying first class with the bed seats and all that. I'm
All
rubbing
right for some, isn't it? All right for some, that.
I know.
Yeah. So
hence why I'm looking after his house.
Yep. Yeah, I see. Yeah. If you recognise the background, the fake brick wall on Graham's left, on your right with the telly. Yes, that is.
This is what I do. I look after people's dogs. So do you know what I mean?
Honestly, you should do it as a job, Gray.
I should start a business, really.
Yeah.
I do all right as it goes.
Professional dog sitter. Mate. But you excited for West Ham to be back on Sunday?
I am. I'm always a bit when we have the international breaks. I don't mind so much if it's a competitive game, but I didn't really see the point of the friendly against Australia other than giving some of the players who don't normally get in the squad a run out. But I mean the game against Italy it was a decent game actually. We played well. We played well.
Mate, I don't watch any England unless it's the Euros or the World Cup. I just don't. I watched a little bit.
I didn't intend to watch it, but I've been football. I come in and my dad had it on, so I sat down and watched it with my dad. So
I had Bowen get on.
No, I didn't see the Australia game. I didn't see
the game. No.
The Italy game I saw. The Italy game I saw. So
fair enough. Yeah, I just can't bring myself to do it. I remember going to see England live at Wembley against like Macedonia or something, and my god,
so I was bored out of my.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was my cousin Matt. He got me a free ticket, so we went. It was free. I was like, all right, and I was like, fucking hell, this is boring. But we got some exciting West Ham action on Sunday. Aston Villa just 2 points ahead of us. This is a big game and a big chance for us to overtake Aston Villa. And big game for both teams. And like I said in the start, we're looking at that starting lineup. Kudus as knocking on the door, I think, and come on and made a really good short cameo against Newcastle.
Yeah. I mean, he made a massive impact when he come on, didn't he? I mean, where would you want to see him? Would you want to see him playing out on the wing, cutting in, or would you rather see him replace Antonio up front? I mean, what would you?
Yeah, I think personally, and this isn't a long-term solution. I don't see Kudus as the answer up front long term, but for now, I'd like to see him replace Antonio. Antonio come on as a super sub, which I think he would be lethal. You have a load of defenders, right? That gets to 70 minutes, tired defenders, and you see Antonio coming on at that time. You think, fucking hell, he would be so effective.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Matt. Because I think he against Newcastle, he started brightly and faded. I think as the game went on.
Yeah.
But like you say, 20 minutes to go, you're tired. You see him coming on, you're going to get smashed all over the place.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's done anything wrong when he's played, but I just think the last couple of games he sort of faded towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I just don't think he has it in him. He don't have the legs to really give it for 90 minutes, and even for 70 minutes, like I said, he fades out. And I think having Kudus is a player that I feel like player needs to ease into the game a lot of the time. You need him to build into the game, and I think him having a longer spell during the game would be better. And I think Antonio just coming on as a sub would be massive. Obviously, Antonio, I think he flew away with Jamaica and that for the international break. So it's a long trip coming. He might be a bit leggy for this one. So
Yeah,
he
I mean,
does.
it might
He
be.
does. Yeah,
Well,
go on,
that
mate.
might be his jet lagged, or what you say. They might start him off, bring him on off the bench. So
Yeah, I think look, he does do a lot off the ball, Antonio. I think we are going to need our forward to start contributing in the goals, right?
yeah.
Are we going to need that striker?
I mean, he's been banging them. He's been scoring.
Yeah.
There's no. But I just think the way we play is, the strikers have to do a lot of work off of the ball, a lot of running. And I just think just rotate them round. Keep them fresh.
What did I say that was negative? What have I said that's negative? Anyone point out? If someone could point out what I said was negative. I don't know. I really don't know. I think this player should start and this player shouldn't. I guess that's negative. Very strange.
I just think if you're playing the way we play, where you're not getting a lot of possession, and when we do, you're asking the strikers to run the channels and that sort of thing. It's demanding physically, and I just think if you're doing that week in, week out, I think we need to rotate up top, keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone gets jaded,
Yeah, exactly, and that's what. Yeah, so it is taxing. And Antonio said himself, a lot of time you're feeding off scraps and things. And listen, I don't think it would hurt. And again, we've got that subs bench there, and Antonio would come off the bench. So yeah, I just don't see why Kudus. We paid all that money for him. He's starting to show his quality. Obviously, he's getting some starts in Europe, but I think he could really do with a start. I know, on a away trip against Villa, who are quite in form, that is quite a ballsy time to change things up. But, so I wouldn't be completely outraged if Antonio started over Kudus for this one.
See what your mum's put.
What's that? Oh, maybe referring to England. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Mr. Negative, yeah.
And then Mrs. Lawless is in the chat.
Yeah. Graham's Mr. Positive, is he?
Or am I? I don't know. Or am I?
Yeah. You want to see what he's like off camera watching football with him?
Yeah, I can be a right. I can be a right grumpy. I'll get.
People, see, honestly, watching it with Graham, it's hilarious watching the football. I'm quite quiet if you think about it, because Graham, he makes his way down to where me and Scott sit, so we sort of stand with Gray. So it's me, Scott, and Graham. Graham's always like, say,
yeah,
usually against the other team.
Absolute potty mouth. So not when your mum's here, though, Dan. I try not to swear in front of your mum.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan's in the chat. I've been learning how to pronounce Kudus during the international break. It's Kudus, not Kudas. Or Kudos. A lot of people say Kudos.
Yes, Kudus.
Steve WHU Bell. Shout out, Steve. Do you think this is a big game for Aguerd?
I was thinking about that earlier, actually. I mean, the last 3 or 4 games, he'll play well, but he's just got a howler in him.
That's it, isn't it? It's them mistakes, them key mistakes that he's making, and that's what I worry about with Aguerd. There's got to be a point now if he keeps making, if he keeps making those mistakes, we're going to have to drop him, and you've got Mavropanos there.
Yeah, I was feeling like Mavropanos. I didn't realise he's a unit, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a big old lad. But
he's good on the ball. He's not just a lump. He can play out from the back. So, I'll say maybe I'll maybe start in this game.
Really?
If I was the manager, mate. Yeah, because it's been like, what was it, 3 games in a row now?
Yeah.
It's I like Aguerd, but I don't know. I just think last 3 games he's dropped some clangers. So
it looks like CSC 777 agrees with you. Mavropanos needs to start over Aguerd. Yeah, he made some poor decisions against Newcastle. it'll be interesting to see, like I said, coming back after international break, if Moyes goes, you know what, everyone gets a bit of a clean, slight, part of a clean slate, and then we'll see. But
I mean, the thing is, when you saw him in the World Cup and the way that Morocco almost played like we do, they're playing on the break and soaking up a lot of pressure, and he was immense.
It's such a tough one for me. I really rate Aguerd.
I love him. I think he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
But, he's just always got that one ricket.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because it's the most of his mistakes are just leading to goals, And I feel sorry for Areola because I think he's been quality.
Oh yeah, I mean against Man City, he was man of the match. And he made against Newcastle as well.
Yeah, and Zuma as well, who's been solid. I see a stat saying Zuma. It was only Zuma and Saliba. They're the only two defenders who haven't been dribbled past in the league. So they haven't had any players to dribble past them. It's an interesting shout from N Thornton. Aguerd would make a good defensive midfielder. Interesting. That's an interesting.
I don't disagree with that at all. The thing is, he's good on the ball, and he's good. It's just it seems to be the mistakes he makes. Like seems to misjudge headers.
Yeah,
it seems to be. So I think if you put him in front of the back four, and you got somebody who can sort of play out from the back as well.
Yeah, so that's the thing because Alvarez, especially in the cup games and things like that, we're going to have to mix it up in that position, particularly defensive midfield. Last season, someone on here suggested Kura in that role, which I would really love to see, and now Aguerd. Well, obviously Rice started as a centre back. I'm not saying that they're going to be the level of fucking defensive midfielder Rice is, but I'm just saying it shows that I think these type of players, like you said, a bit more comfortable on the ball would be decent.
I mean, it's like you say, especially playing the way we do play, when we are in possession, we need to make the passing sort of accurate, crisp, sharp.
Yeah. So mix it up at times. Obviously, this game, like I said, I expect him to go.
I think he'll stick with the same back four. I think he'll stick with the back four we had against Newcastle.
Yeah. I think so. I think it's going to be largely similar. It'll be Bowen and Paqueta probably on the left wing and all of that stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I'd maybe do is not that Souček's done anything wrong. It's just to keep Paqueta in the middle. Maybe have Alvarez walk past Paqueta and put Kudus one wing, Bowen the other.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's I prefer
Paqueta in the middle.
Yeah. Of course. The thing is, it's one of them things, isn't it? If you like,
someone's got to come out, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's the thing. You like Paqueta is good in the middle, right? That's his strongest position. Souček, I don't know how I feel. I love Souček, obviously, as a bloke, everything like that, but he's banging in the goals. That can't be denied.
No. I'll say he looks back to his old self this season. I think.
Yeah. That he's banging in the goals. He is a very good player when he doesn't have the ball. Without the ball, he's decent. Do you know what I mean? It's when you give him the ball and you ask him to do anything like pass it or progress it, carry it or anything. That's his big limitations. So, but for how we're playing now, it's effective in that way. So while he's, it's such a weird one because Souček, I would have sold him last season, but I think he has his place, but he's starting more than I thought he would. I thought we would progress past that, but listen, if he's scoring the goals, and there was a lot of talk about the whole Rice thing about Rice limiting Souček, and
I think he did. Really, I think it did. I mean, you can see that this season.
Yeah.
His old self again. Looks like he's playing with a smile again as well. He looked like at times last year. He looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Yeah. But it's the thing, isn't it? It's like there was no with now with how it's up now. You got Alvarez who will sit there. He will hold. He will sit and hold. Souček can do what he does, get up and down the pitch, have more of a free roll, right? Whereas last season, there wasn't that defined holding defensive midfielder. Like Rice would obviously be responsible for putting in the tackles, defending off the ball, but then he'd get on the ball and he'd want to get and advance up the pitch, which means if he's doing that, Souček can't.
Yeah.
You know,
so as we all know, when you get Souček in the box, magic happens.
Yeah, exactly. I remember once I said we should fucking stick him up front. We was having like a striker crisis and on air, and everyone was like outraged by it. But I honestly think he would work as a striker in this system.
Yeah, especially the way we do
not like the best ever striker, but just the way he plays.
Look, I think Souček, I know, like we say about his passing. I think his passing, if he keeps it simple.
Yeah,
that's where. Don't expect him to be like Paquetá and thread the ball through the eye of a needle and that sort of thing.
No,
when he keeps it simple, like a little simple 5-10 yard pass, he's a decent pass with the ball. You just don't expect him to do.
Yeah, the problem is, you know what the problem is? He's so slow in his decision making a lot of the time when it comes to passing. Like he'll receive the ball and he has to stand and look around and go, right, who should I pass to now? And he just slows us down and it kills our counter attack a lot of the time. So he's not the sort of person who can receive it and then release it straight away. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the big problem I have with that.
Yeah. Maybe.
But yeah, it's hard, like I said, it's hard to drop.
I just don't want to see Paquetá out on the wing.
I don't say. I mean, it's kind of been working though, in a way. I know you're not getting the best out of Paquetá, right? You're not getting as much as you'd get from him in the middle, but I think him and Emerson link up really well on that left-hand side.
They did against Newcastle, linked up really well.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, right. While I'd rather see Paquetá in his best position, I'm not mad at it. It's a tough one. P. Rossi thinks he'll drop Souček to get Kudus in. He's got a selection headache, because now he's got players knocking. He's like Kudus. He's knocking on the door. It's hard to drop Souček because of how well he's playing. Obviously, Antonio's his boy, so it's hard for him to drop him.
Yeah,
it's selection headache, which is good for a manager to have. We'll get some other comments. Stevie Ray says, smart move for this match would be rest Mickey and use him as a super sub if necessary. Not sure I'd use Kudus up front. I'd give him a start on the left and switch Paquetá back centre with James Ward-Prowse. So who are you having up front then? I just don't like Bowen up front. It doesn't work for me. I don't know about you, Gray, but
I think he's okay, to throw one up there if like Antonio's gone off and we've got no one to go on up there. But I like buying out and cutting in, getting the defenders on the back foot.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter. You know what I mean? That's him all day. And he's just
defenders. We don't like it when people run at us with pace.
Yeah, there you go. Spoken from a seasoned defender.
Yeah. I was never that quick in my 20s, so.
Damp Hour says, hope you're both doing well. Here we go with another 7 matches in 3 weeks, starting Sunday. 4 Prem, 2 Europa, 1 EFL Cup. Oh my God, yeah. Do you know what? We are getting thrown 7 matches in 3 weeks, 4 Prem, 2 Europa.
Football.
It is a lot of football. Bloody hell. Here we go. Tony Ryan 72 says, what do you think of the Prem games? The Prem putting games on Christmas Eve. Looks like Wolves versus Chelsea has been changed to that date. See, that's the first I've heard of it.
I didn't. I thought like that. I thought the 23rd is Saturday, isn't it? No, the 24th is Saturday, isn't it? Christmas Eve.
I don't know. It's just encroaching on people's Christmas. I know, like, some people love all of that, but I don't know. For me, Christmas is about family and stuff like that. I like,
Yeah,
I just like doing all of that.
yeah.
Would you? I mean, what's your thought? How do you feel about that, Gray?
I mean, well, you know me, Dan. I wish everything went back to 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Like
Oh
every
yeah,
game was played at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and that's it, you know. But
yeah,
with the
That's
occasional midweek game thrown in, but you know,
yeah.
those days are gone.
Oh yeah, that's it. Like, but it's yeah, it's one of them ones, isn't it? Like with even the Boxing Day games. Like, I know
Yeah,
everyone says it's tradition, but they're not. I've never been a big fan of them, and I think for a lot of people, like, thankfully, I don't live too far from the ground, unless I'm going to Colchester, which I go a lot of the time to visit my mum
yeah,
for Christmas. But it's just like, yeah, it's just a pain in the arse. It'd be nice, have that
I mean,
little.
it always used to be. I remember, like back in the 80s and sort of early 90s, and my dad would probably be able to tell me, you know, 70s when he was going and that. It always used to be that the Boxing Day fixtures generally they tried to keep it fairly like against local teams. I mean, I remember a few we used to get Ipswich or Arsenal. You know, it was all, they always tried to cut the travel down. You know,
Who we got this season?
Boxing Day we got Arsenal away.
Have we?
Yeah.
We always fucking have Arsenal on Boxing Day. Always, without fail.
Yeah.
You can't.
Better than the year we had Swansea.
Well, yeah. Is it really Arsenal on
Yeah.
Boxing Day?
Arsenal away.
Yeah. Every time without fail. Arsenal, the amount of fucking Christmases them pricks have ruined for me playing them on Boxing Day.
Nah, I don't know about just drink some more down it, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Numbs the pain of defeat, don't worry about it.
Yeah. But it's rarely ever like Spurs or a Chelsea or a Fulham. It's always fucking Arsenal. I hate rice at Christmas. Yeah, it's all about the potatoes. But Steve Razor's thoughts on Cornet or Mubama starting up front. I can't see him starting Mubama. Cornet, he's got the pace. He just can't stay on side, can
he? Yeah. He's no player that, you know, I think he'll benefit from he's not really getting as much game time as he would like. So I think he's another one that could benefit with a few more minutes under his belt.
Yeah. Okay, well, all right. I'm just sorting something out. We may have a surprise guest coming on.
We got a surprise guest.
A surprise sub, a late sub.
He's coming on. Super sub.
Late sub like Kudus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Matt Rainey says I lose my rag if Kudus gets 60, 70 min. Does he mean if he comes on? Do you mean if he gets that much time or if he comes on at that time?
Yeah, if he comes on like 60, 70 minutes as a sub. So
yeah, I think that's what it means. Yeah. We need to be getting a bit more bloody time. And I think that was a big problem against Newcastle. Just the subs were too late.
Though the right subs just needed to be a little bit earlier, but
yeah. E20 Zone says, evening, gentlemen, time to unleash Kudus on Villa on Sunday. Souček can't be dropped 2-2, so Antonio needs to be the sub. Come on, you Irons. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Oh yeah, we read that one out. Matt Powell says, "Hi Dan, have you heard we're getting a new training ground?" Do you know what? I saw something a little. I didn't read too much into it, but I saw
yeah, I did. Like you. I saw. I didn't really get a chance to read it, to be honest. But
yeah. So if someone can listen, I've been so focused on other things.
I mean, what is it? They're going to completely redevelop Rushville, or we'd get a completely new, like, different site.
What was it again? Like something about building a new pitch or something like that. Romford Recorder. Is that it? Fucking yeah. Let us know what anyone else is. Apologies, I'm not informed on this, but like I said, I haven't been focused so much on football over the international break. So anyone's got any updates on the old new training ground thing over Fairlop Waters Way? It's interesting, like with the old training ground. I mean, are we going to how much are we going to spend on it? Because this has been a big thing, you know, for a long time with the issues of our training grounds, you know, the porta cabins, all of that, looking a bit tin pot. Planning permission at Rush Green. So, yeah, I don't know. They're redeveloping Rush Green or next to Furlop Station. Youth move into Chadwell. They're going to sell Chadwell Heath and move him to Furlop. I'll be quite sad if we leave Chadwell.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's a bit of history, that, you know.
Yeah, I think some of the players that
it's the greats that
used to train over there.
No, that is where the Academy of Football. You know, it's people are saying it's Redbridge. We've got so many different different answers. It's Redbridge. It's at Furlop. It's at Rush Green. I hope your sub is quicker than mine.
It's not too bad over there, to be fair.
It's Redbridge Sports Centre. No, so we've got a lot of answers. We're developing multiple training grounds. Probably just move the porta cabins over. Yeah, easy to disassemble and assemble again.
Yeah.
It's in Seven Sisters Road. I'm Spartacus. This is. Yeah. No, so it is somewhere.
We just don't know where.
What do you think of Nolan wanting to give Hazard a trial with us? Well, Eden Hazard.
I thought he'd retired.
He wants to give Eden Hazard. You know what? It'd be in keeping with West Ham, right? The tradition of giving, you know, once great players who are a bit past it now a retirement home.
Nice little pension.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's no question. The guy was quality, but he's going to want massive money. Eden Hazard, be a shirt seller, be that sort of thing, but I just don't see it, and I just don't see the fit at this point in time, you know. And
yeah, I mean, he's retired from football completely.
All right, here we go. Oh, I'm unplugged. Yes, Scott. A minute. No one's coming off. Bringing on a sub. It's Brian.
Hey.
You all right, mate? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How we doing, fellas?
Yeah, all good, mate. Oh, you know what? I should have gave you a shout. My mind's been all over the bloody place this week. I was like, it's Friday.
It's all good, man. It's all good. What have I missed?
The main thing we've been talking about obviously is the Villa game, and you know,
trying to work out where the new training ground's going to be.
Yeah. So via my brother, my mum sent me this article, and the facilities are set for a revamp for new training facilities. So it's going to be which also see the ladies team adopt Rush Green. So Rush Green is going to be redeveloped.
Interesting.
So we're getting permission, and so that's what it's going to be. Maybe could we see an end to the porta cabins? Can we finally get some bricks and mortar in the
and possibly the youth moving over to Fairlock.
That would be good. It's long overdue, isn't it? It's definitely, we needed something like a little refurb on that ages ago. So yeah, hopefully if all of that is true, bring it on. Yeah,
no, it's much needed. Like for the well, I want to see what they do with it. I really want to see. I want to see some mock-ups. Maybe we could do like you see some places with the double stacker porta cabins. You know, one on top of the other.
The little staircase on the outside.
Yeah, put the women up top, upstairs. You know what I mean? Oh God, you gotta love it. But so we're talking about Kudus. Potentially starting against Villa. I'd be interested, obviously, your tactical insight, Brian, was favouring me and Gray, favouring dropping Antonio for this one, having him as a super sub and starting Kudus in this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, 100%. I think he's been banging on the door for a start, and with the way he performed in the Newcastle game, I think he definitely needs to he needs to start this game. And I think in terms of who to drop, it's got to be Antonio. It then provides a little bit of that fluidity up top with, a combination of him rotating with Bowen. So Bowen maybe starting in centre and then drifting off to the right, and maybe Kudus going there. Even if you remember with the Newcastle game, there was a period in the latter half of the second half, Paquetá was playing as that number 9 as well. It was probably partly tactics because he had that yellow card, didn't he? So he was sort of like drifting in that hole as well. But what we saw at the end of that Newcastle game, particularly like the last 15 minutes, is there was a fluidity to our attacking play. So yeah, definitely seeing him, and maybe having Antonio as that sub, you know, that maybe super sub coming on, showing a bit of, you know, aggression and bit between his teeth being dropped, that might work in our favor. You know, because he's not like, he's had a decent start to the season, but if you look at anyone that's maybe going slightly out of form, you would say it's Antonio. And he did have a hell of a flight in terms of quite a few of ours had quite a lot, like long haul flights. So it's quite a touch actually that we're playing on Sunday and 4:30. It's a bit of a touch.
Alvarez as well, obviously, and yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? And with Antonio, obviously, he's just getting a bit older now. He's not ancient, but yeah, I just think he's getting to the point where his stamina's not there.
That's why you have squads. You know, I mean, Man City do it regularly. Liverpool, every team rotates. That's why you have a big squad. So
yeah,
you know, I'd say, and I don't know if you saw earlier, but we were saying, like, especially the way we play. You know, when we don't have a lot of the ball, so when we do have the ball, the strikers are working quite hard.
yeah.
I think Antonio, last few games, he sort of faded last 25 minutes or so. So I think, mate, like you said, I've maybe have Kudus up there.
Yeah.
And then bring Antonio on to run right for the last 20, 25 minutes. Because they're still tired.
Yeah.
And you see Antonio coming on, you're like, oh, God's sake.
Yes, I say, you know, against tired legs, mate, he'll run them ragged. We've got a different opinion here from Ironix. Ironix1 says Antonio keeps the play up the park and makes, there's a comma there. Antonio keeps the play up, the park, and makes it easier for the other players. Hold the score, then bring on Kudus if needed. What are your thoughts on that, bro? We'll let you tackle that one.
Look, I get where he's coming from, and I don't disagree, but I think basically for this game, it will probably work best because there's been an international break. I think there's going to be a few of our players that on both sides maybe that could be a bit leggy, and I think Antonio will be a scapegoat if we start him and it don't go right. Do you know what I mean? He is the plan A in terms of the way we play with the Moyes system, but I feel this is a good game to start Kudus and maybe do it the other way round. And just see how that works, because this is a tough game, and I think it will be like a really entertaining game where both teams potentially could get stretched. The back line of both defenses could get stretched, and I think with Villa sort of winning their last 10 at home on the bounce, we need to be mindful of that. They've been quite flexible as well this season in terms of the formations they're playing. They haven't just been playing one system; they've been adapting according to their opposition. So I think starting Kudus would give something for Unai Emery, something to think about. And along with them, if they look at the template, anyone that plays us, they kind of know what we're going to do. They could probably name 10 of our 11 players. They're going to know how we're going to play. This season has been a little bit different in terms of the style of play that we've been doing. But I think starting Kudus will offer something different, and Antonio just coming on and just hopefully like beast mode for half hour, 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? I think that could work better.
Just give it him, just, you know what I mean, being able to run himself into the ground for, like you said, 30, 20 minutes, just all out, not holding anything back because you think, well, I've got to, you know, pace myself over the course of the game. Yeah, I think he'd be so effective, and we'd get a lot more mileage out of Antonio in that capacity there, for sure.
I'm a bit wary, very wary of Villa at the minute. So I watched them. I watched the Brighton game the other week, and they looked like basically. I can't remember what one of their players said. They said basically we saw what West Ham did and did that, but they did it better than we did.
Yeah.
So, they stuck 6 past them, and to be honest, the way Villa played, it could have been more. They looked really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, we all know that the threat that Watkins can offer, sort of like in behind, but Diaby's got to be the danger man, right? I mean, he's the guy for me that we need to watch, because he's going to be breaking slightly from deep, just playing off Watkins in sort of that 10. But as well as sort of having an eye for goal, he can also thread a pass, and he's got legs on him as well. He is very slight though, so that's why I think playing Souček for this game is good. The fact he's in form, Souček's on form. It's really hard to drop a player that's on form, really. And I think where everyone's playing for places at the moment, he deserves a chance. And Villa have got some energy, so those kind of players would be good. But
what do you think about the chat dropping Aguerd for this? There's been a few people in the chat. I think Graham said it himself as well. Would drop Aguerd for this one.
So I love Aguerd. I think he's a fantastic player, but last 3 or 4 games he has dropped some major clangers.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, if you look at some of the goals we've conceded recently, all roads and fingers seem to point towards him being in and around the position where a mistake is made. I'd actually give him this one. I'd probably give him this one. And if he has a nightmare or he makes a mistake for the next game, which will be Everton at home, that could be a more of a better game for Mavropanos to come in for. But I'd probably give Aguerd this game, just for the continuity of him and Zuma for this one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting. El Chico points out we can't drop our fastest centre back versus Watkins and Diaby. Matty Cash are rapid, and I think Diaby is available for this one. They got a few injuries. Buendia is out, Mings and Jacob Ramsey, 3. They're better players.
I tell you, that's a good point. Oh, Chico's made there, because on that side as well, Matty Cash as well. He's always there for the overlap, isn't he? And he's another one that can produce, kind of similar to how Soufal's played this season. Really, he's like kind of, always offering that overlap and then being dangerous with putting the ball in the box or sort of coming out. So that's a good point. Yeah, definitely a good point. There.
Watching, I'd say last couple of seasons since Emre took over, I think Villa sort of followed the similar sort of trajectory to what we did. They were down here, and now they're on the up and up and up. They're in Europe. They're one of the favourites to do well in the conference and that, and he's got them up the right end of the table again. So I can see similarities with how we've been the last 3 or 4 seasons with Villa.
Although they ain't going unbeaten, are they, in the Conference League? They've failed that assignment on day one. So. With
that being said, you'd almost say that there's pressure on Villa to kind of win that, isn't there, with the Conference League? Because, like, I agree with what Graham's saying. There's almost seems to be like Villa seem to be one of the teams this season where pre-season a lot of people were saying that, they fancy them having like a good season in the league and a good run in Europe. Do you know, a bit like Brighton, they kind of get put into that mold of there's been a bit of expectation on them. So if they don't deliver, say like in Europe, it'll be interesting to see how they juggle both, because they've got the man for it, haven't they? In terms of enemy, I mean, who better to have in charge for Europe games at that level? So it'd be interesting to see how they manage that.
We'll see. Like I said, the pressure is on, and I hope they crumble. I really hope they flop. Because there was a lot of talk about West Ham. I'd love to just see anyone could win that competition from the Premier League. And if Villa don't win it, oh my God, it is going to be glorious. I tell you that. I can see Brighton dropping down into the Conference League, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they were handed a very tough group.
Yeah, Brighton.
New season in Europe.
Brighton. I mean.
Brighton.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying I can actually, the way things are going, I can see him dropping down. I was speaking to one of my Brighton mates I speak to, and he said De Zerbi is just chopping and changing it up too much. So, that can happen. So sometimes it's like, we get onto Moyes about keeping not making changes enough, but fucking hell, like when you get a manager like that, he just tinkers with the system so much. It's so frustrating. It's so hard to get a rhythm, but I guess he's trying to find his best team.
This is such a big game now on many levels, and one thing people forget is that we are actually Aston Villa's bogey team. You know, we are their bogey team, man. Like Villa, we're their bogey team. Like in the last 5, you know, in the last 5, we haven't lost against them. Three of our victories have come at Villa Park. Do you know what I mean? So I know, like last season, that was a bit of a fluke with the who was it again? 4-0. It was like snatch and grab last season, wasn't it? But other than that, home and away, I think we've done all right against them. And even last season at home, if you go back to it now, that game, that score draw doesn't seem like a bad result now, right? Remember, we kind of turned it around because they had a strong finish to the season. They did, Villa, but I fancy us for this game. You know, I really do. I think there'll be a lot of goals in it, but I do fancy us for this game.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like, when have we ever really been able to say we're another team's bogey team? It feels like we've got shitloads of bogey teams, but we're hardly anyone else's bogey team.
Yeah, very true.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just don't pay attention. Like, I've been aware that we've been Villas, but I haven't been aware too much of we've been anyone else's. But I can't name anyone.
Norwich, maybe. I'd say Norwich.
Yeah, Norwich are just shit, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's their bogey team in the Prem, isn't it? Let's be real. The Prem is their bogey league. That's what it is. No disrespect to any Norwich fans watching, but let's be real. Come on.
But just in terms of keeping up with that sort of chasing pack, the next load of teams, just under maybe like the top 4-ish, a win this weekend would see us right up there, sort of mingle like sort of top 5 pending results of other teams and that. I think definitely. And then if you look at the next game with Everton at home, it goes back to the start of the season or even pre-season, right, where we all sort of like we said, look, whether you're Moyes in or Moyes out, pretty much both camps sort of said the same thing, right? Let's assess the situation after 10 games. And it's like crept us. We're game 9 now. We're in a decent position. So if we get a victory or or a draw, it won't be the worst. And then to play Everton at home, it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm desperate to win this one for so many reasons. Like you said, it's a chance to keep up with the pack in that European hunt. I want to beat this Villa because it felt like coming into this season, like we were old news and it was all about Villa. And when I was doing my predictions on other channels and stuff, where we're going to be, you can't think you're going to finish above Villa and Brighton. No, West Ham, you'll be lucky to get 10th. You know, no chance finishing above Villa, no chance finishing above Brighton, no chance finishing above Chelsea. This team. It's like, I would love to beat Villa, finish above and just shove it in all of those other rival fans' faces and go, right, West Ham, we had a bad season.
Man. Take it to heart, just smile and nod and then laugh at the end of the season.
No, listen, I got a chip on my shoulder, a West Ham chip on my shoulder. And yes, we had a bad season last season, but it just felt like everyone was just, that's it, we're gone now. Because we finished 14th last season, West Ham, we're out of the European run-ins for good now. We've had our moment. It's all about Villa and Brighton now. Piss off. Like, I can't remember the last time they finished above us, Villa. Apart from last season, obviously. Other than that.
Yeah. I was going to say, other than that.
I have short memory, you see. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it seems like everyone's waiting to crown that new team outside the traditional top 6 as that best of the rest. Like, and Villa, and obviously they play sexier football than us, so they're going to be a little bit more fashionable than we are, right? Because of the type of football we play. But give Moyes his credit. We had a shit season, and like I said, I still stand by the things I said last season. It was unacceptable, the league form. Moyes said it was unacceptable, by the way. So you disagree with me, you disagree with Moyes. But won the Conference League. And in this season, we're doing it again in Europe. We're unbeaten in Europe again and getting ourselves back up there, made some good signings. So it's looking good. Like I said, I'm going to, like Brian said, I've been saying this 10-game review. I'm going to give Moyes 2 more games. So we'll see. You've amped me up now, Brian. We're going to think about Villa.
God, you got 50p in Dan, eh? What's going on?
You know what though? I hear him, and this is what I was saying, Graham, in terms of pre-season and start of the season, Villa have definitely been muted as one of the teams to beat, one of the teams to watch, and best of the rest. So again, as Dan said, let's see if they live up to that title, you know.
Yeah, honestly, they're new boys in this European thing. Obviously, they've played European football before, but that's a long time ago. Now we're in this period of time. This Villa team, they're dealing with Europe, and the fact that they lost against Warsaw, I think it was, and then I can't remember the team they played last time, but they scraped a last-minute 1-0 win. Like this is like the group stages. Do you know what I mean? Like it only gets harder from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so we were massively convincing in the Europa League last season.
I think for Villa, what would be interesting in terms of the Conference League is how Enray approaches it in terms of, like, you know, if they're doing decent in the league, will he then favour certain games where he'll play more of a first 11 in the Premier in the Prem, and then maybe start to rotate in the Conference League? Because, you know, sometimes that could be a team's downfall, so to speak. With us, we pretty much done it where we pretty much played strong. You know, we had our reserve team, but we did play strong 11 when needed. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach it, because that's how I think they kind of got caught out in that first game, is that the tinkering.
Yeah, it's like we never played a B team, but we rotated where appropriate, and we played strong players in there. I think, like, you know, you were still seeing Rice and that. You can't just sit there for them to sit there and play their first European game in God knows how long. I think they can roll out a B team. Do you know what I mean? So it's someone said, if Moyes loses the next 2 games, does a 10-game review become Moyes out? Listen, I can't review it now.
That's a great question.
You're asking me to preview the review. I've got to review it after 10, because who knows? We might be brilliant. We might get robbed by the ref again. We might have another dodgy ref in the next 2 games. Then I go, bloody hell, well, we lost the last 2 games, but we deserve to win them. You know what I mean? It's not just I need to look at the context. So I'm gonna be posting it. It's gonna be an interesting one. Like I've such a weird, like,
he's so hard to please, Dan. He's so hard to please.
I've got this weird vibe with Moyes, like this love-hate relationship. Like when I love him, I love him. When I hate him, I hate him. Hate is a strong word. I've never hated him, but you know what I mean? Like,
he's not your favorite.
He's easy to dislike when things are going bad. Do you know what I mean? It was points then he was just doing my head in last season, but. Do you know what I mean? When he has that little glint in his eye, do you know what I mean? And he's, you know, having a little dance or whatever he's doing, and it's easy to love.
Did you see the thing when I can't remember the Newcastle player in the end when he went down in front of the dugget, like in front of the benches and that?
Yeah.
Moyes was sort of pointing at him, laughing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Reminiscent of Big Sam.
Yeah.
Look, the thing is, I think for, you know, this week, there's been a lot of talk about the whole contract talks with regards to David Moyes. And I think, you know, we will sort of see perhaps, you know, in the coming months, the direction of how the club, the powers that be, what they think and what the plan is going forward. Because, you know, depending on results, etc., there's going to be a lot more pressure, maybe from sort of like the media with regards to whether he should be offered a new contract. There's going to be pressure from fans, the Moyes out fans as well. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of see how it's handled. I mean, if anything, the sensible approach probably would be to leave any sort of contract negotiations right down to the wire. Like,
well, that's what Sullivan does anyway. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Sullivan he doesn't like giving contracts out early to managers. He usually waits. We've got a question here from Moyes' biggest fan, Claret and Booze, Nick. He says, if Moyes was given a 5-year contract tomorrow, how would you feel?
I think that's a good question.
The first thing I would do is check out your channel, Nick. That's the first thing I would do, and watch your reaction. I wouldn't agree with it, to be honest.
What if he was keeping us in Europe every season, Dan?
No, but this is tomorrow, Gray. Like, if he was given a 5-year contract tomorrow, how would you feel we can't predict the future if he's going to keep us in Europe, blah, blah, blah. But we give him 5 years. And knowing that Sullivan, he's very hesitant to sack managers early, pay him off, all of that stuff. So then you're looking at Moyes being the manager for the long haul, right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I don't know. The thing is, I don't agree with like massively long contracts anyway, because if something goes wrong and then they do have to pay them out, you end up paying out a shed load more than you would if it was a 2-year contract or 3-year contract. Personally, I think you give it up. What I'd do is like say 2-3-year contracts, and then the year before it's up, then you see where you are, and then maybe extend it. I wouldn't go for giving like a 5-year contract straight off.
So you would feel what? What would you feel? Talk to us about your feelings, Graham.
I feel that's a too long a contract to, they don't really dish out 5-year contracts to players very often.
So you'd be sad. Would you cry?
I wouldn't be sad. No,
I
wouldn't be sad.
Give us a feeling. Give us the feeling, Gray. What's the feeling?
Do you know what? I think he's done a great job for us. So yeah, I'll be happy, Dan. Stick that in your pipe.
After all that, I don't agree with long contracts. I'm happy, even I don't agree with long contracts. All right, fair enough, Gray. What about you, Brian?
No, I'm not feeling it. 5 years is way too long. I think 2 years in review, 3 years at best. I wouldn't even argue with that. I think that will be fair. I think we need to. When it comes to sort of giving managers contracts and stuff like that, you've got to really sort of tread carefully, because we've seen even for managers where things have gone in their favor with everyone, fan base and everyone, we can see how sometimes after contracts have been offered, how the wheels can fall off. So there's so much to sort of consider. And I think with us, there's so much to consider with regards to the direction that the owners want the club to go. We've seen an upturn in the kind of players we're buying, the kind of go against the philosophy that we've traditionally played under Moyes. So I think there's so much to consider. You do have to reward, good work and progression with some kind of gratitude, that being maybe a contract perhaps, but 5 years is way too long. So for me personally, I wouldn't be feeling that. I would say a couple years at best.
I agree with Red 5 here. If we're top 7, 8 Christmas, obviously and still in Europe, should be given a 2-year deal. I think if we're looking good this season, and then you review his whole time at the club, one bad season, but we still won a trophy, then you give him that contract. I think that was the big issue that we had with Big Sam is even when we were doing really well under Big Sam, playing great football in the top 4, they still don't give him a new contract and it nosedives. So it's kind of like, okay, do you know what I mean? You're showing that last season the league was a blip. We're going to back you. We're going to have faith in you. Here's the new contract, 2 years from today. Let's build something. Let's stay in Europe, and you give a push rather than leave it to if you left it to the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? If we're like up there, then
see the thing is, I think if you give out really long contracts and there's no incentive to sort of progress, because you've got your 5-year contract, you're going to get paid. But if you've got like a 2 or 3 year contract, you think, I've got to do something these next couple of years to get the extension that I want, haven't you?
Mm.
So I think that's probably a better way to go. A bit of incentive. So, like, say, rather than going, here's a long contract, doesn't matter what you do for the next 5 years, your contract is your contract. So 2-3 years tops. Review it after 2 years, and then say, well, there's another year extension. It's an incentive, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't want to get too comfy. But
I can see that Nick again has asked another good question. Again, if Moyes gets a new contract, should he report directly to Super Tim? Should he be judged on key performance indicators similar to Frank from Brentford? And again, this is what I'm saying with regards to what is the plan, what is the strategy. Tim's obviously been bought in. I would love to have been a fly on the wall with that interview and heard what sort of the terms and conditions he came and joined the club under. Who's going to be reporting to who should be reporting to who? And this is what I'm saying about the direction of what the powers that be see the club going in terms of the structure of the hierarchy.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting because we started a bit slow in the summer, but we brought in quality over quantity. I want to see how that relationship between Moyes and Steidton does. You know, I mean, I want to see how that develops and progresses. But you know, I have to call out E20's own TV. You know, I've seen his messages and I've seen his tweets. This guy, right, was one of the most fervent Moyes out voices last season, you know, as I was. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, changing your mind when presented with new information. But going from like the level, going from being one of the most ardent Moyes outers to one of the biggest, like the swing is staggering. And I think West Ham Online, he's got to you, mate. He's got to you. Like, because there's for me, I was, you know, I wanted him out.
Yeah,
we won. I went, okay, let's see, and slowly, you know, I'm watching each game. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Obviously, the football's not the most exciting, but it's working. We're getting results. We're winning in Europe. Okay, let's see. Like, it's a gradual. It's not like because we knew Moyes. I don't care what anyone says. If winning that trophy made you go from Moyes out to Moyes' biggest fan, you must have had no faith we were going to win that trophy, because I was Moyes out thinking we should win that trophy and we have a very good chance of winning that trophy. But I think if we brought another manager in, they'd have a good chance. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like that where you could be so surprised, like, oh my God, he's won the Conference League. I was wrong. He's the man. He is the man. How is that possible?
I hear you. I think with this point that James has made here, though, it's like, you know what? I always felt with like some of the signings, there may have been some kind of like negotiation, almost like, you know what? I want these two, you want those two, kind of. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there may have been some kind of deal where Moyes wanted to get a couple of players of his choice, probably with Ward-Prowse and maybe Harry Maguire, which obviously fell through. But yeah, I don't know. Going back to Claret and Booze, though, in terms of what he was saying about the key performance indicator, it's a very interesting point, because, you know, if you're looking at that, it's looking beyond just how the team's performing based on results. It will be taking into account other aspects that would be expected, because it's looking at data, right? You know, are we bringing through I don't know, are we bringing through enough youth? Are we keeping the age of the squad down? Are we having the ball in the attacking third, like, you know, a certain percentage of the times? It's looking at things where it's measured by data. So if Tim Steidton is you know, if that's his thing, data, with Moyes being sort of an old-fashioned manager, it's looking, will he then, if he were to be reporting to Tim, will he then be judged on other statistics other than just results?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of long and short-term strategies. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, mixing up those two. So we starting, like you said, he's looking at the future, bringing in players that we can either be at the club for years and do very well for the club, look at youngsters, or like have at very least do very well and make us a massive profit, and we reinvest and build. And then Moyes obviously looking at players that can come and hit the ground running. So I'll answer this question. Daniel, my middle name's not Robert, for anyone asking. This is Daniel Robert Lawless question for you. Is David Moyes the saviour? The saviour. I mean, he has saved us from a relegation battle before. If that makes him the saviour, maybe. But yeah, I don't know what you mean by saviour. But yes, it's an intro. The Moyes debate is going to rage on. And I say this time and time again, you know, when we play this type of football, if it's not going well, then yeah, you're gonna have more heat on your shoulders than if you're a progressive manager. That's the thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
That's the thing. If Moyes was playing like this great attacking football and stuff, he would have more breathing room. He'd have more people have more patience because they're at least enjoying the football. It's hard. Any manager, not just Moyes, that plays that more pragmatic style. It's just when you're losing, it's horrendous. It's so hard to stomach. It really is, and that's just what it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm willing to accept it if it works. I'm happy to accept it. I know some people are like West Ham.
We won a trophy last season, so
yeah.
Do you know what? So with the international break, like we all kind of hate the international break, especially when like teams have got momentum. But do you think the international break would benefit us or Villa? So beforehand, we went into that game with Newcastle, decent performance, managed to get a draw. Before that, we had the 2 back-to-back losses. Villa sort of on a bit of a roll, momentum-wise, right, results-wise. So who do you think like that the international break might have benefit? Now we're sort of going back onto it.
So how many players? You know what I want to look, because momentum-wise, I think it's benefited us in that regard because they were on a bit of a roll. But how many players have they had out on international break? I'm just looking at that's fucking Wolves. Just trying to look at their team to see how many players actually had go on international duty. Did Watkins get called up?
Yeah,
Watkins
because he played in the like the B team game pretty much, didn't he?
I just looking at this, I feel like, and this just must be West Ham specs, that we've had more players on international duty than Villa. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So there could be. Yeah, it's such a tough one. Obviously, it's at their ground as well. They've got that right, but yeah, the international break. It's so hard to say, isn't it? I don't know how many games they won in their last few ever. It's hard to call. Like
I said, I feel with the friendlies in now.
Oh, he did, yeah. That's how much out of the England loop I am.
Yeah, the reserve game, innit? The game Brighton got 90 minutes.
Yeah, I just think the friendlies. I don't know. I just find them a bit pointless.
Yeah,
like in the middle of a season. Friendlies. That's what you do pre-season.
As if there ain't enough games for these players to be playing already. Do you know what I mean? And injuries, like I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like this season there's more injuries than any other season with all teams. Like the amount of players getting injured is horrendous.
Yeah, I just felt it broke up a bit of momentum. The next game we would have been like if we'd have had Villa's, the following week after Newcastle, would have been buzzing because we put in a good performance against Newcastle. And we would have been flying. We would have been confident. Now there's been a big sort of 2-week gap in between. I just feel that they break up the momentum. I mean, I know they have to play like qualifiers and stuff like that, but I can't see the point of the friendlies myself. But
yeah, I'm with you, Graham.
Red 5 here, 499 super chat. Thank you, mate. As always, I'm not a fan of Moyes, but the signings this season have been top draw, and we've got a good blend of defence and attack. Villa will be a good barometer. Yeah, I think this is a team that's near us. Do you know what I mean? That's around us, so it is a good challenge and a good test. And if we win this, it's going to look, it's going to be a good look for us. Do you know what I mean? Like it's going to be a point. We should be going there to win. Obviously, a point you look and you think, all right, that's you take that on the balance of things. But I think we have every chance to win it. And and that's the thing. And I just think signing wise, like if we just got that striker, it would have been a great season. This is where it brings me to with Danny Ings. This if he's. It's going to be interesting. Like he's been bringing him on every game, and he hasn't done much. Could this be the game where he has the little pops one against his old club, and that's it? That's his contribution for the season. You know what? If he helps us win this game, listen, I'll be singing his praises. I'll come up with a new song for him.
I feel for Danny Ings, because look, he's had a fantastic career and he's liked everywhere he's gone. He's liked by the players that have been at each club. He's pretty much been liked by the fans. We've kind of done wrong by him in the sense that he wasn't the right player for us in terms of the system that we're going to play. If you got a man in and around him in a 2, perhaps, then you would probably get the best out of Danny Ings. But I feel for him because he just looks leggy, and the way how we've been going in terms of the choice we do have, and the variety we can play when you put certain players on, it just looks like he's not gonna get the run out. And if he were to sort of be in a position where you see his name on the team sheet, you kind of feel a little bit unfulfilled. And I kind of feel for the guy, man. I really do.
Yeah.
It leads to January, right? The January transfer window is going to be very interesting, and on many levels, in terms of not just in terms of any business we do, but in terms of the people that could be leaving our club. I think it could be a busy window. But some of those fringe players, you know, I would keep, because it don't take much to become a thin squad. This is like one of the first times I've looked at our squad. You know, like when you see the team, the starting 11, and you look at the bench and you think, you know what, that bench is all right. You know, that bench is decent. So, but it don't take much. It takes 1 or 2 injuries, or 1 or 2 players to like leave for a squad to then look thin again.
Need a plan for January. It's just like our track record with signing strikers is fucking horrendous. Like, it's why do we keep fucking signing these players that just do not fit our system, do not fit how we play? Why are we just getting players that, oh yeah, he's got a track record of scoring some goals, and just
the trouble is, Dan, we sign players and try and fit, rather than we try and shoehorn players into that.
Say system. The line, Gray. Say your catchphrase.
Try and shoehorn them into that style of play. You can't put square pegs in round holes.
Yes. You can't do it.
Rather than going out and going, right, there's a player at X club who can, he's perfect for our system. We'll go and buy someone and try and shoehorn. Like, they've scored a load of goals elsewhere, but they might have been playing in a 2, but we'll try and shoehorn them into a 1 up front.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We don't buy the appropriate players for the way we want to play.
Yeah, hopefully now we haven't signed a striker in the Stuyvesant era, so this is going to be interesting with the guiding hand of Tim Stuyvesant. Can we finally get that striker signing right? Can we finally do it? Will it come in January? That's the question, because I think we need some reinforcement. He don't seem to trust Mubama yet, so we're going to need it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, if Magic Wand and all that, if you could literally have your pick of anyone, imagine Ivan Toney playing for West Ham.
Yeah, it's a shame, like, because he's probably, we'll probably have no chance signing him. I think Arsenal are going to be in for him, the twats. You know, I think they're going to be. Have I nicked that from Graham? Yes, you've nicked that saying from Graham. Nick, the lawyers will be round. He'll be sending you a summons.
What's my other one, Dan? What's my other one?
Oh, what, the corridor of uncertainty?
That's it. And there's a third one, Dan. What can't you put in a trophy cabinet?
4th place. Top 4.
Put 4th place in a trophy cabinet.
Yeah, you can't. But listen, I tell you what, if we get 4th place this season, I'll make a trophy cabinet. I'll make a 4th place trophy. I'll stick it in there, mate. I will stick it in there. But yeah, we ain't. This is the thing. People ask, "Oh, what strikers, you know, do you want?" And it's just like this January market. Like, who's available? Who can we get? Like, really and truly, that can be like. It's so. I feel like the pool of strikers that we can sign that can fit what we want is so limited. I think that's.
I'll say, I can't remember. It was someone in the comments said about the striker from Stuttgart. And he scored something like 13 in 7 or something. Something ridiculous like that.
This is the thing, you know. Now I'm no longer interested in how many goals these strikers we're signing score.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm interested in the profile. If they've got like 2 in 18, but they're like fucking a hench battering ram, like you can run the channels, I'd take that over like somebody who don't fit and bangs them in.
You're spot on. It's kind of like you're looking for a striker that's gonna like complement the system, complement bringing other players into play. Someone that's got good hold up play. Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's not just about the goals. If you're looking at this system, but imagine having both, right? Having a lethal finisher, and having someone that could do all of that legwork. You know.
Yeah. This is a younger, fitter Antonio. Yeah, just fucking finding Antonio or clone him.
Mm.
This I don't. Bowen will be new striker. No, can't happen. I'm not having it. Not having.
Yeah, I'm not keen on that, but I like what. See, in an ideal world, right? It would be good to like say if there was a game whereby you do have Antonio, Kudus, and Bowen on at the same time, but then throughout the whole game, they're all basically rotating from who's playing number 9, who's going to the left, who's going to the right, and just constantly swapping out for the whole game.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like, because Antonio still has the ability to you know when he used to play on the wing, he used to come around the back post, he was always scoring goals with his head. You remember that 2015-16 season?
Yeah,
got so many goals with his head. Yeah,
I think he was like top of the, wasn't he top for like headed goals or something in the league that season?
Exactly. So then having the fluidity of seeing all three sort of just taking turns in like going wide, going down the middle, that's kind of what I would like to see, basically a bit of fluidity. So Bowen sort of maybe playing some part as number 9, but then sort of drifting out to his natural position. I'd actually like to see him on the left as well. I'm kind of traditional in terms of like to seeing right footers on the right side and left on. I like my crosses, do you know what I mean? So the inverted thing is cool as well, but yeah, I'm a bit more traditional.
Solanke, what are you saying?
I prefer Bowen. I like Bowen facing up the full backs and getting them on the back foot.
That would be a square peg in the round hole.
But I like it when you have a left footer on the left and a right footer on the right.
Yeah, classic. Do you know what I mean? This question, exactly. This question. So Solanke, yeah. On the podcast, Nicky Hawkins has been banging on about Solanke for ages, being sort of the one that would suit us. Do you know what? I'm not too fussed with that. I wouldn't mind. I think he would actually make a good contribution, because if you go back to say like his Liverpool days, there was a lot of promise. The thing is nowadays it's the money, isn't it? Like imagine in order to sort of leave Bournemouth, because they wouldn't let him go willingly, so you'd have to pay an arm and a leg, and it's just
probably pins on keeping him. Really, really and truly. Like when they're in that situation, I mean, they're I'm not saying they're one of the favourites to go down, but that could be the difference between, unless Ings went the other way, because I'd have him over Ings all day. I don't think Solanke is the answer. That he's the one. We signed Solanke. That is the striker we've been looking for. But I think he'd be a good option. Like I think he would actually fit us. He's not going to be the 20 goal a season striker we've been fucking praying for the last 20 years. But him over Ings would be a huge upgrade. Yeah,
he's got age on his side, movement very decent, touch good, but he can bring others into play. So I can see why he wouldn't be everyone's choice. But in terms of bringing into our team, I could actually see him contributes to some nice triangles, and I think it would bring others into play very well.
Yeah. Broja, I don't think we're Broja, that ship sailed, even though he's a big Moyes' target. I just can't see Chelsea at this point in this season letting him go, especially like mid-season. Broja, where they've been struggling for goals, like scoring goals a bit, obviously, and he came back and he scored 8 goals. Don't mean he's going to go on this mad run, but yeah, I just can't see him selling him in January. It's going to be, like I said, if we're trying to get a striker in January, it's going to be a very tough market in January.
100%.
That's why I can see him maybe a little.
I always find with the January window, no one's selling their best players in January. Yeah. So what you're getting is you're basically getting like fringe players from other.
Question, fellas. Question: Ben Rama. What do we think? What do we think the future holds for him? He clearly is not considered to be in the starting 11. Maybe, just outside that, maybe 12, 13. But if we come round to January now and there was like a decent bid that came in for him, or he started throwing toys out the pram and said he wants to leave, what would your thoughts be on that?
Well, that's two different scenarios, because I think if he throws toys out of the pram and wants to leave, then you got to say goodbye. But everyone knows, listen, I'm a big Ben Rama supporter. Love Ben Rama. I think he offers us that creativity, steps up in those key moments. He comes in the clutch, as they say. Yeah, a big part of the reason why we got that trophy last season. So yeah, I think selling him in January, unless a really good offer came in. Look, I think if the money was right, I can't see him in this team be the bona fide starter week in, week out that he probably wants to be. So if we got like 20, like over 20 mil or something offer, we could reinvest that in a left winger that's maybe better suited, then it would hurt, but I'd accept it. You know, that's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but that would hurt.
Yeah, I like Ben Rama. I know he's got his critics, but I like him. I think he's a good lad. He does put in some good performances, but unfortunately, he's not consistent enough to be a regular starting in the regular starting 11. So unless he's prepared, it doesn't strike me as the sort of player that's going to throw his toys out the pram and start demanding this, that, and the other. But you know, like you say, if someone come in with a 20 mil bid, it's going to be hard to turn down, isn't it?
Yeah, for real. I mean, I like off the bench Ben Rama better, to be honest with you. I think he comes with the bit between his teeth to come and try and impact the game. I think he started this season in the team and just hasn't been pulling up any trees. And I don't think he quite makes the starting 11 for me. But again, it's a good player to have on the bench. It just provides that.
Well, and Europe,
right.
You know, we're in Europe. You know, we need squad depth badly. Yeah. Like, you know, when we start getting some later stages and get tired legs and injuries, we can't really afford to be letting anyone go without bringing in replacements. I mean, Creswell's likely going to go in January. There's a big chance of that. I don't know if we're going to be in for any left backs, but we ought to be, because if Emerson gets injured,
and
you know, it's a worry. Would you take Haaland? Nice. Shit, Andy Carroll in.
Nice. I don't know. If he's cut out for this league.
Yeah, this is interesting actually. Last thing I didn't know is Mubama's contract is up in 2024 as Callum Marshall's Ricochet Marshall has option, but not Mubama. Will Moyes make a pathway for Mubama this season to get him to sign a new deal? I mean, he has to. He had a chance to send him out on loan, and he blocked it and said, "Nah." Like, and we're just not seeing him. And little 10 minutes at the end of a cup game isn't enough. You know, it's like you're starting Ings in Europe over Mubama. Come on, like what is Ings providing that Mubama couldn't, and more in those cup games?
Remember we spoke about that, Dan, I think a while back, and Moyes is old school, so it's that loyalty thing and respect. And I think if you flip it the other way around, and then you put in Mubama over Ings, how's Ings gonna feel as the senior experienced player?
Mubama's the future, though. That's the problem. Like, Ings is the past. He's not even our past. He's not even our present. He's not our past or future. He's just there. And Mubama is the future. And if it comes to it, and we're like, it gets to 2024, and Mubama's like, nope, see you later. You know what I mean? And like, whether you think he's really going to make it and be the guy, we're going to lose a player on a free that we could have potentially made some money off, or we could lose a player that could be a great striker for us. So I think it's very short term, and we're hurting ourselves with that one. Like, these cup games, he can be playing in those games. It wouldn't have if Mubama started over Ings, the results would not have changed. We still would have won those games. Mubama would have got much needed experience, and he'd be a bit happier and confident about his future opportunities in the team.
I hope so. And I think the thing is, I do think Moyes fancies him. You know, I think he thinks he's got like his good player and a good attitude, and you know, he's put him in and around the squad for a long time. So again, one of the frustrating things with Moyes is that he does have that patience or stubborn streak, depending on what side you're leaning on. So he's not hasty to throw someone in, because you know what it's like when players can get thrown in, and it could be the making or breaking of them. We could be all calling for Obama, and then he has some shocking games, and then we don't see him again.
You say Obama?
Obama.
That's what they said about Obama. We're calling for a sign Obama. He'll do more than England.
But you know, I think like so it's interesting. But you know, hopefully he does get his opportunities this season, and yeah, we're all rooting for him, man. I really want him to have a little bit of a breakthrough and have a go.
Yeah, did not know his contract was up next year. That is, yeah. I mean, look, he's got a winner's medal at a very young age at West Ham. You know, in a senior winners medal to add to his youth.
He's got an FA Youth Cup winners medal and a Europa Conference winners medal.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And don't you get a youth? Don't you get a winners medal for winning the Southern League? Because we won the Southern League and then went to the playoffs for the ultimate Premier League because it's against Man City, which we lost. So yeah, he's stacking up some medals, but he needs minutes, not medals right now. He needs minutes. Get this young lad some minutes. And we've got Olympiacos coming up. Perfect opportunity. If he's not starting, if Ings starts over Mubama against Olympiacos, I'm not going to be happy. That's going to have to go into the review. That's going to go in the review. So just be warned,
I'd like you to get the ump about things, Dan.
Nah, I'm very chilled, very laid back, easy come, easy go. But let's do our predictions then for this Villa game. You know, is that Paulie Walnuts reading Graham's mind here? Graham's thinking, hurry up and finish the stream. That base station starts. So. Nicky's got it on favourite.
You've seen the look in my eyes.
Nicky's got it on favourite. As soon as he turns on, it's just bam, it's there.
Yeah. Why do you think the telly's off?
What we thinking against Villa? The claret blue from Wish.
Do you know what? I'm going to go. I'll probably get it completely wrong. But I'm going to go 3-2.
I can't believe it. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, listen, I've said that too. I have predicted that in my little preview thing. But 3-2, 3-2 West Ham. I think we'll get like a quick goal. I think it will be like 2-0 half time. This is what I'm hoping for, by the way. And then maybe like 2-1, 3-1, and then Villa get another one to make it 3-2. Then it's kind of like backs to the wall kind of thing. But yeah, I think we can win this 3-2.
You know what? I was gonna go and change my prediction because you guys said 3-2, but no, let's clean sweep 3-2. Let's all 3-2. Let's listen. Let's manifest it. We're gonna manifest this 3-2.
Manifest the 3-2.
Yeah, draw wouldn't surprise me, but no, I feel like we can win this. Like I said, they've got some key injuries there. I think Diaby is back, but you know, I see no reason why we can't come back in the league. We're scoring goals. We're also leaking goals, but we're scoring goals. So yeah, no reason why we can't go and get the win on Sunday. And I'll be very happy and buzzing. But listen, it's been a good show, guys. Obviously, a lot of people away on holiday and living it up and dealing with train problems, but we done it. And thanks for stepping in, Brian.
Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Having you on, mate. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Good to have you. And yeah, listen, Sunday, it's gonna be a big one. I'll be there with Jace on the watch along on Sunday. Be back in the studio. We're gonna have a good one. We're gonna have a laugh, all of that sort of stuff, and be all sorts of contents and all that stuff going out. So
excellent.
Listen, have a good weekend.
Yeah, and everybody enjoy it.
Yeah,
enjoy the beer.
Enjoy Nicky's gaff.
I will.
You found any Coke cans down the side of the settee, crisp packets around you had to clear up?
No, it's very tidy. Very tidy.
Well, that's the thing. Nicky don't get the credit for that one, does he? Let's be honest. He's lucky he's married to a very patient wife. But yeah, so listen. Thank you all for watching. It's been a good show. Thanks for all the chats, normal chats and super chats. We've had some good debate. We come in here a lot of the times not knowing what the fuck we're going to talk about, and you will make the chat. So listen, we'll be back for the next one. One thing left to say, lads. Come on, you
When you iron.